There's a lot of really great food scenes. Okay, yeah.
Anime food, by the way, anime food looks better than real food like 90% of the time.
I believe that. I see that.
I just remember that there'd be these downtimes when all the characters from these shows and stuff like that would come to recuperate and rest and have these like jolly stupid moments, and they would all do it at these small Japanese eateries and all that and stuff. They would come with a full buffet spread, like the hibachi grill with something on top of it, like this huge bowl of rice, and then all these plates and trays and all that. You just watch them assemble it and eat them in tiny bowls, and then they just don't stop eating, and then you're like, I'm just like, I'm getting fat by association, like that's how it feels like.
Hey nerds, welcome to another very special episode of Crossover Event, the show where unlikely nerds collide. In this episode, we have a friend of the fruit. You may know him through his prolific work as a singer-songwriter and the top 30 under 30 acoustic guitar players in the world. What is he doing on this show? Please join Jishnu and me in welcoming a fellow nerd and also part of our Dungeons and Dragons guild, singer-songwriter Dhruv Visvanath. Dhruv, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hey man, what's up? I'm really excited to be here actually.
Like I said, we've been playing Dungeons and Dragons together. We've obviously known each other for a long time. We're all musicians, so so our paths have crossed in some way or the other. But I think notably when the lockdown happened, a common friend and also a guest on Crossover Event, Ankit Dayal, who was on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, kind of put us together in a guild. Start playing fucking Dungeons and Dragons, dude. What a revelation it has been to me. And just know, I'm sure. So
same pinch.
To be honest, like I played Dungeons and Dragons when I was 10 years ago, 8 years ago for the first time, and since then I hadn't played anything. And so I'm just really glad I'm playing it with people I actually know and appreciate, so that it's just something I can really enjoy, and and more than anything else, like of course, having known you also for a long time and having this like really chill environment where I feel free to pretend to be whoever I want to be without like any judgment. It's great. It's absolutely
same
fun.
Vibes. Same, absolutely same.
Same, dude. Yeah, I was always very intimidated by D&D because I was surrounded by D&D players all through college, especially, and it looked very scary. But you all are nice boys and girls that are in the league with us, and I am having a great time.
Swiftly moving forward. So, Dhruv, we forced you to be on this show because we like calling people and saying, you say what you want. I think that's the point of this show, is also like, you talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, because Jishnu, Dinka and I end up, chatting about stuff. We've been doing it for 5 years, so it's time to, get the nerds out there.
Get like the inner nerd out of other people.
This is true. I think the inner nerd is actually a good title, an alternate title for this show. But when we asked you, you were just like, man, I have so many things I want to talk about. And it was within the realm of anime. Your journey into anime has been recent. I want to say, how long have you been watching anime?
So the thing is, like, when I was a kid, I had kind of, what ended up happening was, I was in school in Bombay, and everybody in school at the time was really hell-bent on, Pokemon and Digimon and Dragon Ball Z and all these God knows what it was, but Cartoon Network over time used to show these, like every Saturday they would show a movie, and I remember sitting in front of my television every Saturday watching. I can't even remember the names or anything of the sort, because I barely paid attention. I was just so engrossed with the that and then the slow motion kind of split second thought which takes place over 40 minutes. I just remember growing up with this whole world of cartoons and all that and stuff, where I felt like the work was so easy because the guys who were making it just didn't really do much. They drew like some frames and then changed like little bits of it, and I was like, wow, but this seems so lively and so colorful and so built up. And I got crazy into Dragon Ball Z trading cards and Pokemon trading cards and all that and stuff, and I was really obsessed with the kind of the cartoons, the kind of way they drew the characters. And I really liked, I would kind of sit down and try and draw Goku all the time in school, and in school we would compete, like whose Goku looks the best and all that and stuff. And now that I think about it, that's kind of odd and really kind of strange, like it's like, mera Goku acha hai, nahi, mera Goku tere se bhi zyada acha hai, bhai. Just kind of having like these weird competitions with like 6 or 7 year old kids. These are all these like fleeting memories that I had, but my rediscovery of it, actually, I actually now think of it as a discovery, because I'm actually going to remember what I saw. It happened I think about it 3 years ago, at 3 or 2 years ago, where I was, where my friends were like constantly talking about these shows that they were watching, and man, oh, you have to watch this, oh, you have to watch that, and I was getting this like, I really had this sense of FOMO a bit actually, because they were talking about these incredible stories and these plots, and and this wild sort of sensationalist, these sensational characters and everything of the sort, and I was so keen on like understanding what the hell they were talking about in the first place. I would search for YouTube links, I would search for like other shady websites or something like that, or like or places I could buy it or stream it or blah blah blah, god knows what. YouTube actually, apparently, like a lot of people have actually uploaded full series. Like I saw Cowboy Bebop on YouTube, the whole show. Samurai Champloo on YouTube.
Nice.
And I think even Death Note, and Death Note was the first one I saw.
Yeah, I think Death Note is on Netflix now.
They did a remake of it or something, right? Recently on Netflix.
They did a live action version of it.
It's basically written on spoiled toilet paper, and it was presented.
Yeah, apparently it was not very good. They didn't do a very good job, and they made it American, right? Basically, like Light and all these guys were just like white kids, basically.
You're trying to take cartoony elements and make them live, and then suddenly that doesn't translate. The mystery of doing all of that stuff works well in like such a fantasized environment, like in a way by which like the artist has full control of kind of showing what's crazy about the world. And when I first discovered Death Note, I was absolutely floored by how somebody could take a simple concept. Like, of course, I mean, there have been like so many concepts of the Grim Reaper, and how he exists in the world, and how he functions and all that and stuff, but the way they kind of talk about death here, I thought like this was going to be like a horror show or something. I was like, oh, Death Note, oh my god, blood everywhere, oh my god, I can't watch it around anybody. Suddenly there's going to be like gurgling sounds and god knows what else, and like I'm going to have to watch it on like super low volume. But having this whole sense of mystery about this one really intelligent kid up against what could have been another super intelligent kid.
Man, Jishnu, you like it, dude.
I've said this before about anime, and that like the handful of things I've seen which have been recommended on various Geek Fruit shows of all sorts through the years that I've seen, I've really enjoyed it. I have. My trouble with it is that I can't stick with it because, kind of like what you were saying earlier, Dhruv, about how it's like a pretty static frame, but there's a lot happening within that frame, and it's that jarring jumpiness of it is a bit too much for me. Like it's really, really fast paced and it's hectic.
You saw Dorohedoro, right? Did you watch
that? Yeah, I did, and it was.
Imagine opening with Dorohedoro as like your first like show you watch. It's so wild, man.
Well, no, I mean, it wasn't. I did do a lot of Dragon Ball Z when I was in school. Because I'm pretty sure I had the pencil boxes, which was like the best marketing you could ever do.
Don't
in
tell
the
me,
90s.
oh God, yes.
If you can put your action figure, your favorite superhero on a kid's pencil box, they will stare at that thing all day, every day, whether they want to or not. And so you're like, well, like I guess I got to find out more about this.
Did you have a pencil box, Dhruv?
Yeah, I did. And and the thing was that I had the full Dragon Ball Z thing, and it was like there was so much going on it. It's like, if I stared at it for more than 10 seconds, I probably would have had an epileptic fit or some shit like that. It was it was there's so much color.
I had a Pirates of the Caribbean one. Sorry, I just wanted to say what I had. That's fine. I think like there obviously so many different, like anime is like not a. I mean, technically, yes, it's a genre, but it's definitely a medium more than a genre, right? Like, and within it, it's got like so many subgenres. So there is that type of animation that which is like like Speed Racer, which is a lot of like loop animation, and that that allows them to kind of produce a bulk of episodes at a time.
Exactly,
and that's definitely one thing. But like stuff like Studio Ghibli. Was definitely like there's so much care and attention to detail within every frame that it must be so like it's obviously painstakingly made. Did you ever kind of get into anime like movies and stuff like that, like Akira or
I think more than anything else, the thing I discovered where my true love actually came for it from those films, because the reason why I really liked it was more to do with the fact that after watching the film, I actually ended up stumbling on a few documentaries about how these films were made and how he would storyboard them, and how Miyazaki was just this. I mean, there's guys like Satoshi Kon and all these amazing other artists and creators, but for some reason Miyazaki really, I was drawn to him because he took the simple things that a human being would do and just made them the center of the story. Like, for example, these guys on YouTube, the Corridor Crew, they kind of do these like reaction videos to VFX.
I saw that reaction video. Yeah, that was really good.
So they do one reaction video, and they started doing reacting to animations and all that and stuff. And very recently, he also talks about all this stuff. But when you kind of imagine just drawing an object, a person lifting an object or something like that, and a lot of other cartoons or something like that, you would kind of see, or animations or something, you would kind of see the character go through no effort to just pick up a heavy object or nothing or whatever. Like, or maybe or like in the Flintstones when they would show some like, Fred trying to lift up something heavy or something like that, he would just be trembling or something like that, just trying to lift it up at the bottom. But it didn't seem practical. It didn't seem human.
That was that Hanna-Barbera kind of style of animation. But this entire world that exists separately from that.
But just imagine sitting in the back of a car, having the trees kind of reflect off the glass, and having this wispy kind of feeling, the flowers that you pass on to somebody, the fact that you are in a town, in a city, and every lane, every corner, everything feels lived in. When a fire burns, it feels like it burns with a purpose. Like, there's small other things that I started to appreciate in these movies. Like, sounds like very romantic and God knows what else, but like,
it is, man. I completely agree with you, man. Like, for example, in a movie like Totoro, like My Neighbor Totoro, it's like such a simple movie, but what are you looking at? Oh, sick! Nice. What is that?
So I went to Japan in 2018 and I got these postcards and stuff like that. I gave them to friends, of course, but I kept one for myself and one.
Gorgeous.
And it was My Neighbor Totoro.
But the interesting thing is that even just the human moments between like the family and stuff, just the way they like they sigh or they heave and ho, or when they're running and they're exhausted. That entire, and
of course the famous meme, with the butterfly and that, like, is this
exactly. That's what that's the beautiful thing about Studio Ghibli and how they managed to observe life and like animate it very accurately, like, and then manage to put like fantastical stuff into it, like a house. Man, did you see this thing that was recently doing the rounds on the internet? Somebody recreated all the meals from Miyazaki.
Yes,
Hayao
yes,
Miyazaki
I did.
films.
I saw that.
There's a lot of really great food scenes. Okay,
Anime food, by the way, anime food looks better than real food like 90% of the time. So like,
I believe that. I see that.
And it looks amazing and makes you feel obviously very hungry.
I actually, of course, like the way, of course, he's drawn food and in the Ghibli films and all that. I've gotten so obsessed with looking at food in like the shows, because I ended up after a while, like, after watching a lot of movies and stuff like that, because my favorite movies were all from the Ghibli kind of studio and stuff like that. But when it came to food, I just remember that there'd be these downtimes when all the characters from these shows and stuff like that would come to recuperate and rest and have these like jolly stupid moments, and they would all do it at like these small Japanese eateries and all that and stuff.
Right.
And they would come with a full buffet spread, like, the hibachi grill with something on top of it, like this huge bowl of rice, and then this like
katsu curry.
Other like
love it.
Yeah, katsu curry and like all this like nicely sliced meat and pork and all that stuff on this like all these plates and trays and all that. You just watch them assemble it and eat them in tiny bowls, and then they just don't stop eating, and then you're like, I'm just like, I'm getting fat by association, like, that's how it feels. Like you're watching this whole thing, but
it's torture, man. Some of that.
It is like, for me, the film that I've only seen it once though, but for some reason I still term it as my favorite Ghibli film I've ever seen in my life is Howl's Moving Castle. Like,
I've seen Howl's Moving Castle. I distinctly recall really having a good time, but I can tell you nothing about that movie because, like with most anime,
one of Christian
I have a good time, but then I need to lie down. Like, I remember really enjoying myself, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about that movie.
It's a great movie, man.
But It's a beautiful movie, and the reason why it is my favorite is because of the score. I think the score of that movie is one of the greatest scores I've ever heard in any film, because like it's just that first note that goes da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I got so obsessed with it, like Joe Hisaishi, like the composer for all the films. He did this concert at the Budokan, and I found a 2-hour long video of him playing
Sick.
every score, every highlighted track from all of the Ghibli movies he's worked on, from Laputa Castle in the Sky, Secret World of Arrietty, to Kiki's Delivery Service. Every movie that he worked on for the thing, and it's just that when he starts this movement, for Howl's Moving Castle, like it gives me goosebumps. I don't know, like you'd think
Nice.
that I love listening to metal, I love listening to like hip hop, I love listening to everything, but for this thing I
Metal?
will
How you
cry
listen to metal?
in
You're
a
an acoustic
heartbeat.
guitar player, no? Huh?
Hey, listen, even my strings are
The
made
number
of
of times
steel,
that
so
has
please.
happened.
The boy does have a
I mean-
conveniently placed Rage poster right behind him.
Hey, this is really funny. Like the thing is, I never really listened to either of these guys growing up. My mom bought us these posters thinking she bought us these
Nice.
posters. She bought us these posters thinking like, oh, my boy is like, they like rock music or something like that. No, maybe I'll just get something with rock posters.
Wait, so did you listen to those bands because you got the posters then?
It's funny, like I play a lot of video games. So Rage Against the Machine I really started listening to after Guitar Hero 3
Correct.
and The Matrix. Rage Against the Machine, because Guitar Hero 3, the track that we had was Bulls on Parade, and I remember playing Bulls on Parade over and over and over again, and I could play it on expert on the control. I was like damn happy, like damn, this is like a really tough song.
You and Tom Morello have a lot more in common than you might think, because he's like all and you're like it's like he just plays on the strings, you're playing it on the body. It's like you're basically Tom Morello without the strings,
Thank you, man.
which
I
is
was just
a
going to say
very
the only
big
thing I have similar with him
hybrid.
is my skin tone. I have nothing else like in common, but like
He also wears a
yeah,
hat.
I mean, the band I do listen to is here. This is a Foo Fighters poster, and I think I showed Jishnu it once. And I bought it when I went to South by Southwest in 2018, and it was just like a screen printed poster from one of their performances and stuff. Like one of the artists who made the poster was selling it there, and so I grew up listening to the Foo Fighters a lot, and it was just like, I don't know, like the whole journey of, and Killswitch Engage and all these other bands and Arch Enemy and God knows what. You wouldn't even think like
I have a great segue for this.
I have a question
Oh,
for you.
anime
before we
music
segue.
as well.
No, I want to follow this up about the overuse of popular music in films that don't need them. Like you were saying, it's so great to hear a live rendition of a score, which is kind of like,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I don't want to say it's a dying breed, but it's like it's definitely not as popular as it used to be. Is that something that you find in anime? Because that's something I haven't noticed. Like I think the few things I've seen have all had really good music, and they've all seemed to have been soundtrack, as opposed to insert Bohemian Rhapsody into this trailer. You know what I mean?
So it depends. Like I feel like a lot of the times, like from a movie perspective, when you're talking about anime and film, the sound palette and everything, the design of it comes very close together. I think in animation in general, if you are going to design an entire palette for a thing, like the sound becomes as crucial to it. This is something I noticed. Like when you listen to Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors, you realize every song you listen to has been in some film somewhere or the other. Like every second and third movie you've ever seen. The thing about an anime film is sometimes, the world that they make doesn't really exist. Like even if you take Spirited Away, even if you take Howl's Moving Castle, even if you take Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, or like all these worlds, the human interaction is so real, but the world that they're in like is so it doesn't really exist. So how do you connect that mystery and that wonder and the connection in the heart and all that and stuff? And that is something that I find like, unless it is truly designed. And the only other film that has done an absolutely fantastic job of this outside of anime, which gives me the feels and all that, is Up. because that movie, the score for Up
Oh
was
man,
like
all
absolutely.
Pixar movies are fantastic scores, man. Like
They
just
are,
have
they are.
Michael Giacchino, man, that guy, he's doing Batman now. He's a ledge. You know who grew up? Another artist of repute who grew up watching Studio Ghibli films was Billie Eilish, because she just released a song called My Future, which has got this. The entire music video is like a Ghibli, like very Totoro kind of homage.
Very foresty, Mononoke kind of like,
very Mononoke, yeah. So
spirit of the forest and all that
check
kind
it
of
out,
thing. Yeah.
check it out and stuff. But yeah, that's one thing. Have you, Dhruv, have you watched Carol and Tuesday? It was recommended to me. It's fucking great. It's just, it's about two songwriters, man, and it's sponsored officially by Gibson and Nord. So, yeah. It's insane. So everything they play on the keys and the like on the fretboard is like absolutely authentic, dude. Like it's the right chords, the right notes and stuff. It's great, and it's like set on Mars. So they're all Martians who live there, and they go and they basically try and become like, from busking they go to becoming like songwriters and stuff like that. And the songs are actually amazing. Like they're really good songs, and they have different bands, and their songs are also there in the show. It's really good. So I highly recommend Carol and Tuesday. Fucking great music,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah. But that's my point. Yeah, the music they do so well in these shows, man. Samurai Champloo has got amazing scores.
Samurai Champloo's soundtrack and Cowboy Bebop soundtrack, for me, are the best TV anime sort of show soundtracks that I've heard. But once you start getting into this like shonen territory, where you start getting into like music made for this thing, they kind of have a theme song, and that theme song is just like Kirikabo Kanada way, like some really like crap stuff and stuff like they sing with like this rock band and stuff like that.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Alright, so Dhruv, we're almost at the end of the first segment where you've told us about anime and how you're 101 basically. So why don't we just actually make it like a syllabus, right?
Right.
And if you had to recommend one movie and 2 TV shows for people to kind of just make a breakthrough into anime.
Yeah. First off, pick a movie from the Ghibli universe. I mean, there are many others like from outside it, like Paprika and Akira, which are also amazing movies. But I would say start off with a film like Spirited Away. It's not too serious, it's not too sad, but it's a beautiful story. It's a journey which inevitably feels like there's no point, but it's just a beautiful story to get you introduced to the world of how beautiful and how thoughtful somebody can create something so beautiful. So start with that. As far as TV shows are concerned, I always like, for somebody who has never seen an anime TV show ever before in their life, just watch One Punch Man. It's a short show. The first season is enough for you to sort of get into it, because every episode feels like it doesn't really connect to the previous one, so you never really feel lost and out of place. And the humor is unparalleled as far as like normal TV shows, like it feels like it just feels like it belongs in that space. Imagine being the most powerful guy on the planet being bored of your powers. So the ennui of living your life as the most powerful man on earth, it's a very interesting concept. The number 2 show I would recommend, I always like to recommend shorter animes, because like I feel they're very easy to consume, and they're not, you can let go of them just as quickly also, but the one that I recently discovered that was absolutely downright disgustingly amazing was Mob Psycho 100. It's by the same animators who made One Punch Man the first season, and after the second season was sent over to a different studio, these guys continued on the show called Mob Psycho, and it's about this guy. It's basically in this world of psychics and psychic powers and everything of the sort. So and it's about this one kid who has unlimited potential, but he doesn't want to realize it. He just wants to really fall in love with some girl, or he just wants to really do simple things and make friends and be the popular guy in school. But inevitably everybody else really kind of uses him for his powers and all that and stuff, and it's really funny how they write it. And I think it is by far, the second season of that show, Mob Psycho, is some of the best animation I have seen ever. Nice. And I'm a big endorser of that show. So if anybody who has never sort of explored that world,
nice,
I think you should definitely watch it. And it's on Netflix as well, so both seasons are there, so you can just watch it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
We're gonna move forward to what we haven't really called hot takes, but it is that essentially. We're gonna throw a few titles at you, okay? Maybe sometimes a question which has, some binary options, and you have to pick and you tell us why. So I'm gonna leave it to Jishnu.
Already talked about how the live action variant of some anime like Death Note might not be the best. Disney's been doing this for a while. How do you feel? Do you want them to continue? Have you liked what you've seen?
I would love to see like a good version of Hercules, because Hercules was one of my favorite movies growing up. But
Well, you know that the Russos are doing Hercules, right?
No
So
way.
that is the most interesting thing about it.
that I'm very
So
happy
it's,
to hear. But I think the direction that you need to sort of understand is like, I think everybody has this like mindset like, let's make it darker, let's make the guy have more pain and more thing and blah blah blah. And I think the beauty of having an animated world sometimes means that, like, expression and color and a lack of realism kind of fits the plot a little better.
Basically, what you're telling us, Dhruv Visvanath, is that you hated The Lion King.
I hated The Lion King. I hated it. I hated the new one, but I did love The Jungle Book.
Tintin or Asterix?
I would say Tintin. I grew up with Tintin actually.
That's why you're in the guild.
Nice.
Because I'll say this: when I was a kid in Hong Kong, when I was growing up, I just remember going to bookstores and seeing Tintin comics, like next to these books, not next to the comic section or anything. They were next to like children's literature or something like that, or God knows what. And I was so intrigued to sort of kind of go through this. And I remember reading, I can't remember the names and God knows what, but like just going through and reading through Snowy and Captain Haddock's like booze-filled adventures, and just like the what are those detectives called? Like God knows what, I can't remember.
Thompson and Thompson.
But when I learnt more, Thompson and Thompson. But when I learnt more about Hergé and of his origin, and when he went to Vietnam at the time, in 2004, I think I went there as a kid to and saw where Hergé sat and animated and drew some of these cartoons, and
Nice.
I saw some of the places which he drew in Tintin à la Saigon, where he written it. I have a lacquer thing of it somewhere in my house somewhere. I can't find it, but I remember that. And for me, Tintin always has a special place, because it's just I got to see where he sat and drew these cartoons,
awesome,
and
man.
where he built these worlds. It was amazing. So yeah.
Nice.
From the heart. Wow. Okay. One last one for you. Twinkle or Diamond Comics?
Okay, I read both, but I I have a story about Twinkle also.
What, you visited the heritage home of Twinkle?
No. It's just that I had so Twinkle comics, I would buy a lot of them, and they used to have sections where you could draw and do word searches or some crap like that, and I used to collect them
Very
a lot.
considerate of them.
Very nice to them, actually. Yeah, it was a good kids magazine, man. It was a good kids comic. Once a month you get this nice comic of it. And what is that? My first joke which I ever learnt in my life was the principal comes and what's that kid, the guy who has that only 3 hairs on his head and that long, I forgot his name. Supandi, whatever. Yeah. Principal calls Supandi to the office hey, Supandi, can you write? Yes. Can you write? Yes. So he goes okay, he gives him a piece of paper and says write this, and so he says and so he gives them a piece of paper back or something like that to just read what he had been dictated, and it's just all squiggly lines across the page. And he said, what's this? You said you could write. I said yes, but I can't read. So I was wondering, where the hell did this joke come from? I have no idea. It was so dumb.
Oh my.
But
So silly, man.
but closer to this, when I was in my first year of school in Hong Kong, I wanted to educate my classmates about the world of Twinkle, and I was at this classroom. I am a student of the world. I'm not just some Indian dude who's come up
You're
with
an
thing.
ambassador.
I'm an ambassador for my culture.
That's right.
Exactly. Just as everybody else was kind of sharing their whole thing, I pull out the comic, Twinkle, and boom. That's when I was bullied a lot. So so it's just kind of things just kind of went downhill there. It's like, Tinkle.
This was the 90s.
story.
Yeah, I was gonna say you pulled out a comic and you were cool. What?
Cool. That's the that's the end of our hot takes section and the end of our show. Dhruv, Visvanath, thank you so much for being on this, educating everybody here, including Jishnu and I, about anime and your introduction to it.
Thank you.
I mean, and this isn't even your final form. You know, you're gonna go and make more, discoveries, and hopefully you'll share them with us here at Geek
First,
Fruit.
thanks so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this. Thanks for letting me nerd out here and geek out, and for helping me pick one topic to talk about. So that I'm very happy about, because I could have talked about anything right now.
Yes, you basically picked all of anime, like the whole of anime. Do you have anything to plug? Do you have a new single coming out? You have a bunch of singles that are out already.
I have.
And I believe it's leading toward an album.
No, it's not leading towards anything actually. It's just I'm putting it out there because it's nothing.
I was misinformed.
But I've just been kind of producing music here in my bedroom, as you can see with the. This is pretty much where I make the music. So, but yeah, I've got a new single which I've just finished off, which I'm releasing next month. Next month is in October, 2020. The last Friday of October 2020. So that is there. The other thing that I've been doing right now during this time is also I started a Patreon to help, sort of also tide over times during the lockdown. But I wanted to reach a goal of 200 patrons so that I could donate 1 month's worth of patronage to fund people's therapy, because they find it very difficult to sort of open up and talk to people, and also affording therapy is a very expensive not adventure, but like it's a very expensive sort of thing to sort of shell out for. So I thought, like, if I can help in some sort of way, in some shape or form, if people will be willing to contribute and be a part of it, and I'm hoping to grow that further so that I can change it from just a once in a year kind of thing to every month kind of thing. But it's a small start, so I hope that people would be happy to join in.
It's an amazing start, man, and we wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
This is a good man. Support his music and support his Patreon page. I'm sure we'll put a link in the description. Thanks a lot, Dhruv.
Thank you.
And arigato, I guess.
Arigato.
Huh?
Ome wa mo shinne. No, kidding.